Good morning, London News, Melbourne. Last night we had a great chat with the International Common Law Court people, New South Wales, Victoria, New Zealand, and of course John in Scotland. He went through a lot of stuff off camera with us, what we're going to do and what we can't do. We're really, at the moment, we're living in the land of the walking dead, zombies that are all walking around, they're dead. Sadly, just accept it because there's nothing you can do about it. The whole world's the same, and with a bit of luck, when the November elections come in the USA, Donald Trump gets elected again, things will settle down and we'll go back to normal, because all this enforcement of imaginary viruses is to keep the people from voting in the USA. And it's a great exercise for the Labour Party here, especially the Labour Party here, to show their power and how they can control the zombies, because people gave up without a vote. Now, I want to give people a little bit of advice, and it's pretty hard to accept when you don't go along with the BS. When you get pulled over by the police, look, they're sick and tired of it just as much as they're victims of it. Don't create an argument, just agree. There are no fines, so don't worry about it. You won't get issued one. If you do, they can't enforce it. So don't create an argument. Look, just play the game. That's basically what I'm saying, is play the game. No, I'm not taking sides with the police. I'm just looking at common sense. Like, common law is common sense, and there's nothing of that, no common sense left. It's all been taken away from us. Just play the bloody game. Get on with it. It'll all be over in November. It's a long time. These Labour Party and the Democrats have destroyed our world. Look at America. All this. You see, this is what the media don't tell you. The states that haven't gone along with this BS haven't shut down. They're Republican states. No problems. All the states, the Democrats are so determined to keep Donald Trump out of office, they're burning their states down, burning their cities, wrecking everything. So let's not play their game. Let's keep everything as civilized as possible. And please God, all being well, when this is over, the people who've caused us harm will be taken one by one in their private capacity, and they will be charged internationally by the common law court. They will pay a penalty for it. What goes around comes around. Anyway, let's get out of here, get across into having a look at last night. Thanks for watching, and I'll say goodbye at the end. Again. London News, Melbourne evening, and it's morning time in the UK, and of course New Zealand, as I said, as usual, a little bit ahead of us. I'd like to welcome John and everybody on board into our new screens. And John, if you got anything, we've been talking for quite a while now, so is there anything else you'd like to add to stuff that you want the public to know what's going on? And of course, I've asked you a few times to contact Ireland. Will you please do something about that? Got you on air. The question has been asked. John.
Well, I will do. Well, good evening, everyone over in Australia and New Zealand. It's morning over here. But again, thanks for taking the time to get together. There's quite a bit happening with the Common Law Court just now. As we're speaking just now, I believe the website should be down for maintenance. It's actually being worked on as we speak, and we've got a developer working on that. So there's quite a bit going on there. We're hoping to move into premises in the near future, and hopefully that will help with the backlog in orders and emails, which we are working our way through. There are quite a lot of developments ongoing just now, and the next 2 or 3 weeks will be interesting. Before coming on this morning here in Scotland, I was actually given a phone call by a friend who informed me of some more news. Now, I don't know if the people are actually aware of what's going on with the royal family in the UK, but approximately about a month ago, Buckingham Palace have actually paid off all of the staff, which is approximately about 250 staff, which means that the palace is no longer staffed at all. And the announcement this morning is that the Queen has stated that she will not be moving back into the palace. Now, there's lots of stories going on in the background about why she won't be moving back in, and obviously what's happening. As far as I'm aware, she's still at Windsor. She normally comes up to Scotland around about this time of the year up to Balmoral, but she doesn't seem to be here just now. She is in Windsor. Now, although the Queen is not going back to the palace, there's no word of any other member of the royal family going back to the palace. And I would say that, given the fact there's no staff there, I can't see anyone going back in that situation. Also, if the Queen is stepping down, there's no word about who's taking over some of her duties and roles. So it begs lots of questions and obviously makes things very interesting. What we can say as well is, as the common law court is applicable for men and women to be used, we have actually had various people using this, including Greg Hallett, who has appointed himself the King John III recently by signing off the official documentation. Now, he's done so, as he's entitled to do so with every other individual, by making this lawful declaration and putting the paperwork on the site. The site will stamp the paperwork confirming that it's accepted by the people on the grounds that obviously this is genuine paperwork and it's been stamped and sealed accordingly. Now, given the fact that he's taken this position, we believe there's a possibility this has a huge impact on what's going on with the existing royal family. Greg has obviously stated that he wants everything to go back to common law jurisdiction and the authority and the courts to go back to the people. Now, as such, he's actually submitted and made a couple of proclamations. So he set up Royal Proclamations 1 and 2. Effectively, what they're doing is giving control of the existing judicial system back to the people and the common law court, confirming that the common law court is the highest standing court available and it's superior to all statutory and commercial courts. He's obviously stated it's unacceptable to use the legal fiction, legalese and corporations against the people, and he's also confirmed that as the common law court have an enforcement team, this enforcement team, which is known as the Peace Service, is superior to all other law enforcement agencies. And that's including the police as well. Now, this is applicable to all countries as well, but he's made these proclamations. Now, the paperwork for this and the common law court will be coming out over the next week or so. And again, it says the state are going to have to deal with this, but remember, in doing so, no court in the land or judge has the authority to challenge the royal family. He said, now the fact that this royal proclamation has been issued by the king, they cannot challenge this. So therefore, if they take any action against the king, it says this would actually confirm that they're committing high treason and they will be prosecuted for that. So it's going to be very interesting, given the common law court papers and arguments we have, plus obviously the paperwork been supplied by Greg Hallett, King John III. This is going to be very interesting in the coming weeks and months, because it gives the people back the authority and is going to allow us to deal with things like dodgy politicians, ministers, first ministers, attorney generals, and the lockdown situation in the various states and countries, in addition to the vaccination issues, the 5G issues. It's actually changing the whole thing, and the emphasis and the authority is going back to the people. So I think that we will be in a position whereby we can issue the paperwork and notify all the relevant bodies, and they will have to back down. The paperwork is giving the authority back just now, and it will change in the coming months. Is if the people do not do what's required, they said they will be replaced. I heard recently, I think it was yesterday, the day before, I'm not sure how they've done it, but I did hear someone speaking and say that over in Siberia, they've taken over the government. They've actually closed down the government and removed all the politicians. The people have done this. Now, I'm not sure, obviously, with the full story, but this came to me. I think
Serbia, John. I actually think it's Serbia. I think it's in Serbia.
Serbia, is it? Sorry.
I put up a meme today. I'm sure it was Serbia.
Possibly. Well, as I heard, it was the last couple of days, I heard someone speaking about the background that actually asked a little bit about it, but I was informed that the parliament's removed. But obviously I didn't get more information. I'm not sure who it is, but I was told it was the people are disgusted and decided to remove them. So what it's going to entail, whether the military is involved, I don't know, or whether they will be informed, I'm not sure. But this is happening all over the world. The corruption is obviously having a huge impact on the people who are suffering as a result. And obviously the people are now coming together and standing together to rectify this. The common law court is a lawful procedure. It basically says it's set up, the system's set up, and the people are standing together. It will be able to resolve this, but at the end of the day, the people that are committing these crimes against men and women will be held accountable one way or the other, and they'll have to bear this in mind in the coming weeks. Okay. Well, hopefully everyone's enjoyed watching today, so we will have some information in the coming weeks just now. There is a lot going on, and I apologise obviously for any delays just now, but things should be developing in the next coming weeks, and there are quite a lot of changes coming up. So bear with us just now, and we're obviously helping out not only Australia, New Zealand, but we're aware that in the Scandinavian countries, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, that they're actually all, including yourselves, are trying to convene your own common law courts as well, which is going to be quite good. There is a possible in a couple of weeks we may have the first, we have an international meeting just now, but we'll have a larger international meeting in the coming weeks whereby we may have 15 or 20 countries involved. So that'll be something we'll look forward to as well. Okay.
Right, that was
Thank you.
fantastic, John. Anybody got any questions for John in relation to what he said? Anybody must have a question floating around there? Somebody who's going to fire up first? Brian, why don't you ask a question, Brian? Brian all sits there and he listens and writes it all down. Go on, Brian.
Oh dear. So, John, you're going to send the paperwork back to
Yeah, I'll get that. So the paperwork, given our discussion last week, the paperwork we went through, it says there's literally nothing wrong with the paperwork. It's not here. It says we're not sort of school teachers here. It says you convene your courts, you convene it, providing you follow the procedures. You can set up any way you want. The paperwork is actually good. We've suggested a couple of slight alterations. It's not obviously the be-all and end-all we can do. We've actually been stowed under this week, so we just haven't had time to return it. But I'll deal with that, if not later today, tomorrow. You can get that back, and then we'll move forward to the next step.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Anybody else want to ask a question? Go for it.
Yes.
Just clarifying that John's going to get through all our paperwork.
Yes.
Sorry, Steph.
Sorry, Jackie. It's breaking up a bit there. So, John, I'm looking forward, or we're all looking forward to getting this paperwork in about 10, 15 days that any of us can use to make it simple for those that are watching this program that are not involved to become involved with the common law court. If they have any gripes or grievances with anybody, there's paperwork coming with the common law court stamp on it. That's official paperwork, so it'll be easy to use.
We've actually taken this paperwork. It's something that's been developed during the time we've been operating. We've been going into the courts, various people using different arguments and obviously confirming our position. Now, in doing so, we were aware that the state, they don't like certain arguments and they can't deal with us. So what we've done recently is we've put together a document which covers 14 points and a closing statement, basically tell them that they have no authority, so throw the case out. But these points, they cannot answer one of them, because if they try to answer one, they're going to lose, and they'll lose all control and authority. Now, to escalate that, we actually have 2 or 3 other points we're going to add, and also with the position of the new royal proclamations as well, we can add that in. Now, what this will do, it will allow anyone for any case to submit this documentation, because it means that before the state can proceed against you, they have to establish certain things. Now, unfortunately, they're unable to do so. But because of what we have just now, we will win on any point. And I think what we'll do is we'll start not only with the authority of the people, which we have over any corporation, as we will also start with Greg Hallett and the Royal Proclamations, because they then have to take that on. It says, but if they wish to do so, they will be charged with high treason. And it's just a crime within their own rules, and they will be prosecuted for that. So if they don't want to deal with us, the people, we use the proclamations to do so as well. Now, this paperwork should be ready in the next week to 10 days. There's quite a few people working on this just now. But, excuse me, when we get this paperwork, it will then give you the documents you can submit to any authority you wish to do so in the statutory system, and it should be able to close them down. It will certainly give you an argument which you will win, and that the statutory system cannot win, and you will confirm that they're committing crimes, and some of these crimes they will be prosecuted for, even within their own system. So that should be a week to 10 days, and when this paperwork circulated, anyone can use it for any issue they deal with within the statutory system.
Okay. Yeah, when this silly season is over, I call it the silly season of self-destruction and the Walking Dead, we're going to have a lot of paperwork to do, and we'll do small cases, and we'll take these people who have caused damage and hurt and duress to individuals, which we see on TV every night. We'll take them in their private capacity, and we'll do one at a time. We really should be going after the snake's head like they did in Chicago when they were going after the gangsters. They brought the mafia down when they actually established the the 5 families had a link together and a meeting, then they went after them. Well, we will go after the snake's head, but in the meantime, for practice, we'll just go after the guys who cause us so much duress in the silly season. Come on, somebody else must have a question or two to go.
Yep.
Go for it.
Definitely got a question. Just a small one, John. We've had a couple of queries about the new website. There's a new registration form there. And some people have gone on, and there's certain things that are mandatory to fill in. And one of them is a birth time. And we've had people say, well, look, I don't know my birth time. I can't really fill that in. Honestly, what do I do? And yet they can't complete and submit the form until that's done. I know it's only trivia and minor, but can we get those things sort of attended to or tidied up?
What we're doing within the site just now is that there will be tutorials for each page, video. So it'll be a 2-minute video on each page. And if you click onto the video, it will tell you basically what to put into every field, what the form is for, and obviously why you're filling it out. In relation to the fields just now, you've got to remember all the people are making a declaration, and it's based on the personal knowledge that they have. Now, unfortunately, since when I was born, I said my memory wasn't that great, and I can't remember the time I was born. So basically, you can use hearsay. If you're comfortable and you're happy to accept that, you can put down the time that you think or you've been informed. If that's unacceptable or you're not sure or you just don't know, all you need to do is put something into the field, because if you ignore the field, it won't accept your entry. But if you do not know, it's just click into the field and just enter not known. Now, it's the same with, for example, parents. Your parents, now some people are adopted. Some people obviously may not know who the father is or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you do not know, when it asks for the relevant name or information, just enter the field not known. That's it. Providing the field is completed, it will be acceptable. Now, we will cover these in the tutorial videos that we get up, obviously, when the website's done. We're going to try and put up as many pieces of information for training purposes. So there will be educational videos, training videos, and it will give you everything from convening courts and how to work the website. So there will be a lot more going on there. We will also, although we have one, we've never used it as such, but we will be using a proper forum in the near future very quickly. But I think the forum we may have about 30 or 40 administrators basically running this. So they'll be checking the information that comes on. Now, with the forum, we have thousands of people worldwide who can be using it to chat to one another. So that will be set up in the near future. But all these things are happening. It will improve when the website's done. Unfortunately, it's like everything else. We have to work on it one piece at a time. Unfortunately, says you remember the basic things. It's if you can't fill the form in, you have to enter something. Just enter not known. That's it. Providing that's fine. And remember, as long as the information is not fraudulent, you're not committing any crimes. It's just a declaration.
Yeah.
And it will be accepted.
That's excellent. That answers the question. I just wasn't quite sure whether that was required, but no, that's perfect. I'll just pass that on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
John, for those interested, how do they become sworn in as sheriffs?
The common law court, this is the sheriff situation, is actually set up through the courts, through the common law courts. Now, we have convened courts in the past, and the requirement at one of the hearings is that we wanted to set up a peace enforcement team. So that was accepted by the jury, voted in unanimously. So we're in a position we can actually do that. Now, the sheriff, we've got a sheriff can be used for two things. When we convene a court, we appoint a sheriff for the day, for the hearing. So they're appointed specifically to deal with that. It's a roaming sheriff you want, or they deal with that specifically and sign off the paperwork. Now, other than that, they will not be doing anything else. But what we are doing in the UK just now is we've actually got together people, we've got a large list of people that want to join an enforcement team. Now, to do this and do it properly, what we're doing is setting up a training program. We have it developed and written out, and it'll be a 2-day training course. So they will go on a 2-day training course, and they'll be taught basically everything they need to know in the 2 days, how to deal with themselves and how to act lawfully as obviously constables for the common law court. Now, we will probably have, because of the position we've got, we'll probably have 3 different grades. So obviously we'll have, It's a web developer as we speak. Basically, we'll have the enforcement constables. Now, we'll have an area with maybe a group of 10 constables, and we're suggesting that when we get 10 constables, we will have someone in charge of that 10. So basically, we'll have someone superior just to take charge and make sure that everything's okay. Now, similarly, throughout the country, we will have these individuals who are in charge of groups of 10. But when we have a large enough area and you maybe have 10 of those people, we will have someone in charge of those. So obviously you've got 3 grades, obviously senior people. Now what we'll do is the senior people will be appointed, there will be sheriffs, but the sheriffs obviously have the authority to appoint people and take them on, but they will only be allowed to do so if these individuals pass the training course. So there is a 2-day course to do. Now, we're not expecting people to pay for it, but obviously we don't have money anyway. So we're having to look just now at funding issues and how to do the training, because it will be residential. They'll have to stay away a couple of nights and they'll have to obviously be there. So we need people in. If we can do something locally, that we have obviously a large enough team locally, we can do one in different areas and get people to travel, although I'm not sure if it would be if we require them to stay over, but we'll sort something out. But the point is, as long as these individuals pass their training course, the sheriff will swear them in after completion of the course and provide them with a uniform and everything. So that will be done during training, and that's the way it will work. But that will be the enforcement team. Slightly different, obviously, although it is a sheriff, they're dealing with the enforcement side of it. However, we also use a sheriff for court hearings as well, which is just appointed by a member of the public, and they're only there for the court hearings and not for the enforcement side. Okay. As the people have decided that we can actually convene court cases. Now, if you convene court cases, what you do is you run through the procedure for the hearing, and when you turn up on the day, the court officials, including the sheriffs, will be appointed from the public that turn up, and people can volunteer on the day for the position. And again, if you have 2 or 3 people all want to be the sheriff for a court hearing, we only need one. So if necessary, we then have to draw lots to select one for the hearing. But that is only a sheriff for the court hearing. They have limited functions on the day, and they will sign the paperwork, and they will obviously have the position of sheriff. However, when the court case is finished, they no longer have that position. They're only appointed to deal with one court case. In relation to the enforcement side, we're actually taking in specialist people. We've got a guy just now who's obviously, well, 2 or 3 guys. One of them is a lead guy. He's actually going to be training the constables that we're training up. He's actually not working for the Common Law Court. He's actually ex-police, 20 years plus service. He specialises in training. He's actually going to conduct the training courses, but he's got nothing to do with the Common Law Court. All he's doing is we're paying him to take a course. And then when we do that, we're obviously slotting these people into positions. Now, we have obviously a few enforcement people just now on the team, but what we'll do is when we train the first batch, we have 2 or 3 then that will put into sort of prominent positions because of the experience they have and the fact they're already helping with us. So they'll obviously take in sort of key players, key positions, and then what we'll do is appoint constables who will come in to work. Similarly to any other system, if you come in as a constable and work within an area to help out, you'll find that maybe someone above you decides to move or retire or something. If there's a vacancy, they can stand up and obviously help out. But obviously, it's not down to individuals. It's as if one individual is in charge of a team of 10 people, they may find that they obviously wish to work part-time, or they may wish to retire, or they may be wishing to pass on things. So we can take 1 or 2 of the constables to work with and learn and develop, so they can obviously be developed to take over a team. So the process is fine. We have it in place. But obviously, the main thing just now is I know people are anxious and very keen, and it's great. But obviously, the only way that we've achieved what we've done just now is by taking it 1 step at a time. Now, the good thing about what we do is that the state can't challenge what we've done, because everything we've done is lawful. Unlike their system, we do believe in doing things lawfully. We remain in honour as well, and they can't actually challenge what we've done. It's just even the public can't challenge it, because what we've done is set up a system which is excellent. Now, the first process in the system is by basically establishing your courts and beginning to prosecute people. So these are the first things. So if you get these things done in place, and the main issue is being able to and being confident enough to run common law courts yourself, when you do that and you get the decisions, they will be enforced in a short period of time afterwards. But the enforcement comes after. We can deal with that. We're setting things up just now. We're obviously a lot further down the line. But when we get this here, we have a complete system we can then pass on to anyone else in any other country. And it's like the common law court, providing you follow the procedures, you have something set up which you can replicate in every country.
So when the judgment is given by the jury, where does that paperwork, does that go back to you to be stamped, and then we've got an order from the UK?
The thing about the common law court, this is the common law court has been established, and what we do is the people have accepted lawful procedures. So, for example, if you convene a case and you only have 10 of a jury, well, the people have already established that that's unacceptable and it's not lawful. So if you obviously have a jury, we need to establish that it's been done with a minimum of 12 jury members. So therefore, before we put anything on the site, because the site is used as a public record for everything, we will obviously keep records of all court cases and the information goes up. But before the information can go up, we need the information from you. We will put it up. But before we put it up, we check everything that goes on. So therefore, we'll check that you have a minimum of 12 jury members and that the paperwork's completed, the paperwork's been signed off, and all the steps have been adhered to. So providing the steps are followed, they will be accepted, they'll be stamped, and they'll go on the common law court site. And then obviously once that's done, it then becomes a lawful verdict, and having a lawful verdict, you can then enforce it.
Okay, we'll wind up now and then we can talk off here because John can get a breath in. Anyway, John, that was fantastic, and thank everybody for participating in tonight's little chat. We'd like to thank all the people who came, and we'll catch up again maybe next week. And bye for now, everybody. Give us a wave, and away we go. Stop recording. Hi, thanks for watching that. Please subscribe, it does help, and share the word. And do not try to convince The Walking Dead of anything, because by now you know you're wasting your time. London News sign off. Thanks for watching. Take care. And I've got another little video in Harry Potter's coming up. I'll put up a day or two after this, and you can have a look at a little bit of silliness, a little bit of fun for a change in a very sad and demoralized world. Bye for now, and thanks for watching again.